Welcome back, New Jersey football fans, to the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. Mark Trible here with Tim McAneney, the coach, ready to talk about the state semifinals. We know we have a lot of people in here going to be interested and going to be ready for the action. Mac, saw you last weekend, man. It's good to see you. Good to see you again. I like this. You got the blue. You got
breaking it out.
You all ready for the action?
Yeah, no doubt.
State semifinals.
Crazy. Yeah, this like last week we talked about traditionally the sectionals used to be obviously the last game. And we'll talk about how Jersey's now, or South Jersey, has infused itself to, I think by my count in the public school, we have 8. So I got 3, 4.
That's right, 8 in the publics and 1 in the non-publics.
Right. So we got a ton of traditional South Jersey teams playing in these semifinals. And the matchups, scream of like great games.
I think we could have some classics.
No doubt. Right. We were at one last week.
We were. We're going to talk about that.
Yeah, that game was unbelievable. It was great. I mean, first time ever for Cedar Creek for me. First time.
Pretty great place.
Great venue.
Good facility.
Great facility. Great hospitality. Great place to watch a high school football game. Everything was done perfectly, and
we got you in.
Got
you on the sideline.
Got me in, got me out. It was fine.
Nice and easy, no problems.
Just the helicopter landing was tough.
Yeah. It was a great time. It was a great game. South Jersey football at its finest, really back and forth sectional final on a Saturday afternoon in Cedar Creek and Mainland. Obviously, Cedar Creek won. We will touch on that. First off, though, I want to give a shout out to the people who bring us here each week. The West Jersey Football Coaches Association, established to promote, improve, and unite football in South Jersey. And in less than 4 years, they've done just that. The association's donated close to $100,000 already to charitable organizations, including the National Football Foundation and the Touchdown Club of Southern New Jersey. With the Battle at the Beach, they put that on. They've done an excellent job, and we want to thank them, the West Jersey Football Coaches Association, for presenting the show. Also, a quick shout-out to our buddy Dave O'Sullivan, the founder of South Jersey Glory Days. He's the reason you have a platform to watch this on Facebook. If you're watching on the Facebook page, you can read some of our stories there on sjglorydays.com. Thank you, Sully, for all that you've done. We've got big games coming this weekend. We're going to touch on the 5 sectional state semifinals that involve a South Jersey team, and also we have a non-public B state semifinal, which includes a South Jersey team. So we're going to touch on those games. We're getting down to the end here, Mac. We have state finals around the corner. Now, for those of you who don't know, we are not exactly sure how the schedule is going to shake out. I will say that the first day of games will be at MetLife Stadium on Black Friday. Not sure who will play when, but it's a pretty safe bet that the non-public Group A finals will be at MetLife. Non-public B, it would depend, because if Holy Spirit were to win, they have a Thanksgiving Day game.
Right.
Things would move. If Holy Spirit were not to win, then we'll see.
We got a couple teams that have, I think in public too. I think Haddonfield and Camden have Thanksgiving games, correct?
Yes. So Group 2 would definitely be the following Wednesday. The Group 2
correct.
State final will be the Wednesday after Thanksgiving. You have a possibility with Phillipsburg, again, is still alive in Group 4. If they were to win,
sure,
they have a Turkey Day game against Easton. That would also be moved to the Wednesday. And there's Rutgers on Sunday is in there too. So we'll see exactly how the matchups shake out. For those of you who are interested in the way the show and the matchups, I know we have probably some Wednesday night Turkey Day games. I think we have Thursday morning Turkey Day game. We will go on next Tuesday night at 7 o'clock.
Tuesday.
Instead of Wednesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Because your calendar's full for Wednesday.
A lot of people were probably going to be tied up. Travel. I don't know if folks will be. I know some of our diehards here, like Emil and Chris and others, will be huddled around the old Magnavox watching us.
Yeah, maybe they could. If we ever do a Wednesday before Thanksgiving Eve event, they'll do it. We could do it live somewhere at some local establishment.
Yeah, possible.
Not this year though.
Not
this year. This year's Tuesday at 7.
Tuesday at 7. Yeah, I think it'll be good. We'll
Yeah,
get that out of the way.
Well,
We'll be
yeah.
previewing the state finals, the ones that we know, and then we'll come back sometime after the state final, break down the whole season, the championships, and everything like that.
Yeah, that one's always a little fluid. Fluid. That when are we going to have that last show to put a bow on it?
Yeah.
But this weekend, this past one was great. This coming up was, I don't want to say even better, but I think we have, to your point, some possible really, coin flips in front of us with some of these games. Some of them not so much with the coin flip. The others, yeah, can be pretty cool situations.
Yeah, let's talk about first, Mac, what we have going on in terms of last week, the game of the week that we had, and that was with Kingsway and Atlantic City. Kingsway and Atlantic City, at Atlantic City, they were the top seed in South Jersey Group 5. Kingsway came in as the 3 seed. Could not have been more impressed with the Dragons. Kingsway wins this thing by a score 38-21. They ran away and hid from AC. They did it in the typical, I'll say, road game for a playoff team. They had one penalty. It came after the whistle. So they had no pre-snap stuff. No procedural issues. David Orvetz ran the offense great. They were +4 in turnover differential for the game. Didn't turn it over once. And on top of all that, they forced 3 turnover on downs inside the 20. It was a great effort for Kingsway, Mac. I mean, you talked about what you thought they might have to do coming in, and they got it taken care of.
Yeah, I didn't see it live, but I kind of had a feeling that the boys with defense would show up. Could they get to the quarterback, rush the reads, confuse the offense, different looks on defense, whether it's 2 high, 1 high, stemming late, as they say. Kingsway does a lot of that, and that confuses upper level quarterbacks, let alone high school kids. And to your point there, not turning the ball over, right? And not only not turning it over, +4 in the turnover battle, huge, at any time of the year. But you're going to play at this time of the year. You're going to play like for like teams, and if you're going to lose the turnover battle -4, you're not going to win. You're not going to win many playoff games. So, yeah, and I don't. This time of year, you don't expect many pre-snap penalties happening. I mean, teams, you don't get to this point where you're breaking the huddle with 12, false starting, not enough, 6 guys in the line of scrimmage, just all that ticky-tack stuff. That stuff, bad teams do that all year. That stuff you take care of before, scrimmage into the first, second week of the season. But Kingsway's not going to be a team that's going to shoot itself in the foot, drive killers, as they say. When you have a procedural penalty, which is put yourself 1st and 15, it just puts you, it just kills the drive, puts you behind the sticks right away. So Kingsway being more physical, which will be, when we talk about the Group 5 game, I mean, you're going to have 2 teams that are, this is going to be a heavyweight knuckle fist fight on Friday between Township and Kingsway, and a rematch nonetheless.
Yeah, rematch of one of our better games of the season. We will talk about that. We're going to preview that game. I want to give a shout out here to a couple players over on Kingsway for their excellent performance. And then, we'll mention this too when we go over the preview against Washington Township. But Jordan Hernandez got the hat on Friday night. His performance up front for them on the defensive line, number 55, he was excellent. He scored the first touchdown as an up back, comes in for a fullback dive. He was all over the place. He had 1.5 sacks. He forced a fumble. He really was a critical player. We talk about winning these games up in the trenches. And a lot of times when you think about winning in the trenches, you're thinking more like, are we blocking? Are we not holding? Are the guys, getting some pressure? This guy is everywhere. I mean, his forced fumble comes on a wide receiver screen. He's outside 55, hitting a receiver, ripping that ball out. Huge critical moment in the game for Kingsway. Hernandez was excellent, and he talked about his dedication to the Kingsway program, and he's a kid who mentioned, and this is the reality of sports today, one way or another, he had an opportunity to transfer somewhere else and thought it over. Maybe I should go. Decided not to and was more than happy to stay and stick around with his mates there. Coach Mark Hendricks, we've talked about him a lot over the years, and I don't know that there's a coach. There are some that are in that upper echelon of whatever they have on the roster. When they come out in a big game or really any game, they are going to have it all buttoned up, right? They might not win, but they're going to have a great plan. The kids are going to believe in the plan. They're mostly going to execute the plan, and they're going to be in a position to win a game. And you look at what he's done now, winning 2 sectional finals. Coach Hendricks is one of the finest coaches in South Jersey. I think anybody who watches South Jersey routinely will say you can never count out a Mark Hendricks coach team. Excellent job. I know he coached with you. I mean, you'll sing his praises from the mountaintops as well. You should. But really, I thought his team was very prepared. I think when you look at the way Orvet's cool under pressure, knows what he's doing, good mechanics, good foundational skills, smart, really an additional coach out on the field, speaks volumes for the job that he's done and the job that Coach Hendricks has done there. In this game, the subplot, Mason Bryant, star receiver, cornerback, left the game with an injury. Cole Danick, star linebacker, fullback, running back, heartbeat of the team, left the game. Don't know their status for next week. But I will say this, Kingsway will put forward an excellent effort one way or another. But have to give that big hat tip to Mark Hendricks. Excellent job, Coach. 38-21, Kingsway with their 3rd sectional title in school history, their 2nd under Hendricks. Coach Barchuk also won 1 for the Dragons.
What I love what Henny does is Henny understands the game of football, right? He's an X and O savant, defense, offense, either side of the ball, but he also understands it's high school football. So the old saying, it's not what the coaches know, it's what the coaches get the kids to know, right? And then situationally putting his kids in the right position at the right time and then having them feel comfortable to make those decisions. That's stuff that's repped in practice. That stuff, he's not throwing the kitchen sink at kids, but he's putting in enough that they, like they're sponges. Like as the season goes on, the kids want more and more. And if some of his guys can't handle it, that's fine. He'll put them in a position. Not every kid, not all 11 on the field can grasp every concept of what you're doing. You just got to know which kids may or may not grasp that concept and put him in a spot where he can succeed, because you're trying to get your best 11 on the field. And when the coach, one of my peeves is when a coach is like, oh, he just doesn't understand our scheme. Well, coach, guess what? Fix your scheme. Right. If the kid's good enough, fix your scheme. Like, we used to, some times we played 10 would be doing one thing, and we might have a kid on the other side of like a D end or a corner. Hey, look, you're gonna lock up man over here. You're good. You're done all day. We'll have a couple tweaks. It'll be a little different. Or D end where you're gonna just you're gonna do this or that.
Yeah.
But he can do this or that really, really good.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what Henny does really well. Knowing his personnel, knowing who can do what. Putting the onus on the kids who can do a lot, trusting his kids to do that, and then on Friday nights just go out and ball, go have fun, go play. That's and it's evident kids like playing for Kingsway football, and it's fun to watch.
Absolutely. We'll give a shout out to some of our viewers in here: Dwayne, Charlie, Mom. Absolutely, I've got the Hokie colors on here. Welcome, James Franklin to Blacksburg. Excited about that. Brad Osborne, good to see you, Mr. Osborne. You're right, Kingsway's well prepared, well coached, and as is your club in Washington Township. So we're going to look forward. If anybody here, be sure to share the show out to your friends as we're watching or talking and going over these matchups. It doesn't get much bigger than this, state semifinals. We have a lot of great stuff to cover from last week. In these matchup previews, we'll talk about how each team got here, what we're looking at in the matchup coming up. We'll start with non-public Group B, then South 1, or South Central 1, South Central 2. We'll move through in that way. So stay tuned. Right after this break, we'll start looking at the games this weekend, I guess, with the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. The South Jersey Football Frenzy Show is brought to you by our presenting sponsor, the West Jersey Football Coaches Association. The West Jersey Football Coaches Association was established to promote, improve, and unite football in South Jersey. In less than 4 years, the association created the Battle at the Beach and has dedicated itself to helping others. The association has donated close to $100,000 to date to provide scholarships through the National Football Foundation and the Touchdown Club of Southern New Jersey. The group has also donated to the charity Philly Faces, which helps those in need of facial reconstruction surgery. Thank you to the West Jersey Football Coaches Association for their sponsorship of the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. The South Jersey Football Frenzy Show is also sponsored by Capstone Medical Services, a dedicated team of experienced healthcare professionals with a strong presence at the youth, middle school, high school, collegiate, and post-collegiate levels. They specialize in athletic training services and sports medicine for youth, high school, collegiate, and adult sports, event EMT and paramedic coverage for events and gatherings of all types and sizes, ensuring everyone's safety, injury prevention and workplace injury programs for commercial and industrial organizations, American Red Cross training, ideal for coaches, youth group leaders, church organizations, businesses of all sizes, and school districts. At Capstone, they are committed to delivering exceptional medical services that exceed expectations. No team will work harder or more passionately for you or your athletes. They proudly serve athletes of all ages, schools, businesses, and event organizers, ensuring the health and safety of every individual in every setting. Whether on the field, at work, or during special events, Capstone's here to protect, support, and serve because your safety is our top priority. To learn how Capstone Medical Services can support your school, organization, or event, call 855-EVENT-CMS or visit capstonemedicalservices.com. The South Jersey Football Frenzy Show is also sponsored by SRA Home Products. South Jersey, let me tell you about my friends over at SRA Home Products. SRA has been building sunrooms, pergolas, and patio covers for over 25 years. They've built more than 9,000 projects in the Delaware Valley alone. And I've had the opportunity to be around Mike Fody, the owner, and I have nothing but the best things to say about Mike and his crew. SRA is a gold accredited member of the Better Business Bureau under the elite provider status with Home Advisor, and they've racked up a number of Best of South Jersey awards in the past. They also contribute to multiple sport associations and are huge supporters of Williamstown football. Find them online at srahomeproducts.com. Welcome back, New Jersey football fans, to the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. Here talking about the state semifinals. We only have one non-public team still left in the dance, and that would be Holy Spirit down in Absecon. They're going to have a matchup, a Spartan matchup with DePaul Catholic. They met last year in the playoffs. It was 41-7, a final score. But first, let's talk about the thrilling win that Holy Spirit had last week against Donovan Catholic. We're beeping. It was that thrilling. Holy Spirit at 7-3. Last week, Ty Costabile hits Taylor Cartwright for a 26-yard pass down the 1-yard line. With 10 seconds left, they throw a 1-yard touchdown pass to Emmanuel Gerena, one of the best players in South Jersey, really. They get the 2-point. They win that game by 7. A thriller. You look at what Holy Spirit's been able to do here recently. A 5-game win streak. Their losses are to Northern Highlands at Battle at the Beach, a team that lost by 1 point in the sectional final last week to Ramapo. Cedar Creek in the state semifinal. Camden High in the state semifinal. So Holy Spirit's at 7-3. DePaul Catholic 6-4. Their in-state losses are to powerhouses. They lost 3 times in state. Montvale, Bosco, Del Barton. This is Friday at 6 p.m. I'm going to go back to what I said about Mark Hendricks And I'll say the same thing about the coaching staff at Holy Spirit, specifically Charlie Roman on the staff there. You look at how they mature through the season. Every year I say, you look at Holy Spirit early in the year, you think they look a little smaller than last year. Or, that last year they had 4 of these big playmakers, and this year I see 3. How's it all going to fit together? It always does. They're always in the semifinal round, non-public B. When there were 3 groups before, they'd be in the final, they'd win it. Here they are again, Mac, but a testament to a football guy in Charlie Roman and Holy Spirit. I mean, here they are. They're on a good run, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, DePaul, obviously tough foe, right? The losses to Montvale and Bosco, Del Barton. But to your point, Spirit lost to some good teams too. So, again, well prepared, well coached. Something funky, right? Mm-hmm. This game's gonna come down to a fourth quarter situation of play, as Spirit always brings it to, which is, we wish them luck, right? South Jersey, go represent.
I'll say this for the teams that we have left. It's a common theme. Sometimes we get to this point in the year and we have a team that is, I don't mean this in a negative light, but a team that's a wing T team, right? That's 85% run. And when they pop you, they really pop you. What we have this year, I think all the teams that we have are capable of throwing the ball to win or running the ball to win. And Holy Spirit can be very balanced, good passing attack.
Sure.
Burlington City, Glassboro, Camden, Haddonfield, Cedar Creek, Holmdel. I don't know as much about Brick Memorial, but Winslow certainly can do it all. Township and Kingsway, teams that can do either thing. That's not always the case when we get to this stage. So from a matchup perspective, Mac, it's a different prioritization of what do we want to do versus our opponent, what do we want to take away first. It might not be as apparent as we got to take away Belly, we got to take away Trap.
Right. I mean, look, we've talked about in years past, but this time of the year, you got to run the football.
Yeah.
And there's not a good coach in America that'll tell you, that they just don't want to come out and control the line of scrimmage and run the ball. Doesn't mean you got to run the ball every play, but that run does open up the pass. Whether you don't got to run on first down all the time, but you can. But to your point, if you can mix it up and hit it at the right time and pop, it just everything opens up everything when a defense has to prepare for everything. So
yeah, and
all these coaches and all these teams, it's not a surprise, right? They all can do what it takes to win, and they're not stuck on one way, right? Like if these guys are getting 6-7 yards a chunk, they're going to continue to get 6-7 yards a chunk running the ball. They're not the egos. They don't have to be throwing the ball for 250 yards a game to think, oh, it's this is what we got to do. They'll do it if they need to, but a win's a win's a win.
Absolutely. That's the bottom line, Mac. I mean, at this stage of the game, whatever it takes to get by. So, Holy Spirit will head to DePaul Catholic. The South Central Group 1 matchup here, Mac, we got to talk about this. A game many have been looking forward to all season as the two teams that seem to be on a collision course in this side of the state. Burlington City at 11-1. They beat Shore last week 28-20, their first sectional title since 1979. That was a South Jersey Group 2 title. Their first ever Group 1 sectional title. Dante Davis did it all for the Blue Devils on the ground, 22 carries, 224 yards, and a touchdown. On the other side of things, you have Glassboro, 12-0. Glassboro beat Shalleck 47-14. They've rolled through the season. They're seeking their second straight state title, their third consecutive state title appearance. Last week, Amari Sapp, 13 carries, 273 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Makai Parker and Xavier Sapp each caught a touchdown, and Brandon Simmons had 4 sacks. Mac, this is the game we've been waiting for. Burlington City, Glassboro, Friday at 6 p.m. at Glassboro.
Yeah, if you're not like if we've said this in the past too. If you're not used to seeing these teams at all, and you see them getting off the bus, then there might not be 50 of them getting off the bus, but the 25 that do get off the bus,
Yeah, they're dudes.
they're dudes. It looks like a Group 5 team out there breaking a huddle. This isn't your father's or grandfather's Group 1 teams.
Right.
This is some serious, serious football. And these are some heavyweights added too. And what a matchup. We've been kind of looking for this also. We're hoping for this, not hoping, but seeing this collision course about to take place.
Glassboro, we know what they have. We know exactly how potent they can be on offense. We know how opportunistic they can be on defense. They're in an incredible run, and they have the star power to prove it. Now, for Burlington City as a team, every week they put up big numbers. Caden Booker's done an excellent job there. Shanzy throwing the ball. You got Davis running the ball. You got a handful of guys that are really contributing in big ways, and one of the best seasons they've ever had. When you look at them getting a chance on this stage now to face the mighty Group 1 power in Glassboro, who everyone is probably penciling into their bracket from the beginning, it's an excellent opportunity for Burlington City to come out and show what they've got. Glassboro, look, through the years, their path has gone through teams they've played already in the season, really. You had Woodstown was a rematch last year. You had Woodstown the year before. Here, you have a team they don't traditionally see in Burlington City, although they did play last year in the regular season. I was there. Glassboro won that game. It's going to be a good matchup, Mac. Good Group 1 football.
Yeah,
Friday night.
Yeah, yep. The city's got to kind of hold the fireworks down early. And both, it'll be interesting. Can City prevail a little bit against Glassboro's defense?
Yeah.
That's the.
You have to take care of the ball against Glassboro because, if the ball goes on the ground or is taken away, it can end up in your end zone.
Yeah, the propensity for knots on those guys is above the mean curve.
There definitely are not team of the year. The other state semifinal there is Butler, the Bulldogs against Cedar Grove. The Panthers, Cedar Grove, made the final last year, and that's who Glassboro beat in the state championship. So we'll see what happens up north in Group 1. South Central 2, the state semifinal is one that we've seen many times over the years, it feels like. I know I covered a sectional final with these two teams. It was a classic matchup, and they are playing again Friday at 7 p.m. at Haddonfield. Camden at 9-2, at Haddonfield 9-2. Haddonfield was, by the rankings, the number 1 overall seed in the bottom of the state for Group 2. So Camden has to make the short trek. Everybody worried about travel between Central and South. Well, this travel is, about 2.5 miles or something like that. Camden High gets here beating Wall last week, the 2 seed in their bracket, 43-7. They get their 3rd sectional title in 4 years. Their first since 2023. They're seeking their first ever state final appearance. Ahmad Jones, 15-21, 270 yards and 3 touchdowns. Ibn Muhammad, 4 receptions, 150 yards, 2 touchdowns. Azir Pagan, 5 receptions, 75 yards and a touchdown for the High. Haddonfield beat Delran, the 3 seed, 28-7 last week. Their first sectional title since 2021. They're looking for their first state final appearance. Brody Leonard, this guy, at this point in the season, is the bell cow for the Hattons. He carried it 32 times, 201 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Logan Ray and Raphael Lettle, 2 sacks each. I love Logan Ray. I think he's one of the best defensive linemen among the small schools in South Jersey, number 54 there. Certainly Camden has a lot of bulk up front, too. They've been able to run the ball with Braxton, with Duckett, and Jones been able to run a little bit, too, Mac. This one, look, familiarity, right? Right down the street. I think at the beginning of the season, you said, who's it going to be in Group 2, South and Central? You say, well, you kind of always figure Haddonfield's going to be there.
Sure.
And you got to look on the roster here, and you're looking around, you say, I think Camden High is going to be here, and here they are.
Well, I think this one goes to, back to the coaches in the beginning of the thing, right? Henson and Delano, Frank and Bobby. know how to prepare their teams, don't really care how it gets done. They're just going to get it done.
Yes.
And now it's the force of the two teams trying to get it done to get to the state final. A fun matchup, right? Both teams, like last, Brody Leonard, 32 carries, right? I mean, we were talking about on the sidelines on Saturday. Some people are like, Frankie wants to throw the ball. Now, Frankie, sometimes he wants to throw the ball, sometimes he wants to run the ball. Frankie will tell you, I'll
do whatever.
I'll do whatever works, right? And the coaches who can figure it out, and it sounds so simple, right? Hit it where they ain't, right? Mm-hmm. Teddy Williams, figure out what you're doing well, and then you'll do some other things around it. And both teams can run the ball, both teams can stop the run, both teams play defense. It's again controlling the football. Camden might have more explosives, possibly, but the Canaan kid can, he can make things happen anywhere on the field as well. So. What a good matchup.
Jones and LaFacas, two quarterbacks that are really going to have to, manage the game in the right way and make the big plays when they're there. We know there's going to be potential for big plays. We've seen it with Keenan. Haddonfield will pick their spots and scheme up something that's going to create a big play. Camden High, you got Ibn Muhammad, who anytime he touches the ball is a threat to score. You got to get that guy the ball. So Keenan and Muhammad at the skill position, I like both players a whole lot. Very impressed with them. I think the trenches are going to be solid on both sides. Like you said, Frank and Coach Hinson, head to head. It's going to be an awesome game. When you look at when they played that magical that magical Haddonfield season when they beat Camden in the sectional final. Those teams were very good. And then a couple of years ago, Camden called a fake punt. The up back called his own number.
Yeah.
And that was a great game as well. So I think it's going to be great, Mac.
It is. Great matchup, great, well-coached football teams. And, as it should be, right? We're talking about state semifinal games, the best of the best in South Jersey. Again, we always tweak the state a little bit on how the playoff matchups are set up. At least it get, in some of these with a lot of these having the 1s and 2 seeds on each side, we're both South Jersey teams, which allow the Kingsway Township, Burlington City, Glassboro, Camden, Haddonfield, right?
Yeah. I agree with you, Kevin Minnick. Every game should be tremendous at this point. Also, you got to work on getting this site updated, man. Come on, you guys hold the key to our scheduling, our stats.
Yeah.
I know you're going to fix it, Kev. Just giving you a hard time. That's Friday at 7 p.m., that Camden Haddonfield game. I think it's in competition for game of the week, Mac. It was in competition for game of the week. It's not our game of the week, but that doesn't mean it shouldn't have been because it's right there.
It's going to be a lot of people's game of the week. They're going to, but it might not be Mark Trible's.
Other state semifinal, there's a good one too. Shabazz and Westwood. The Cardinals been in the mix. Shabazz was in the state final last year. That's going to be a good one as well. Let's talk South Central 3, Mac, before we go to break here. Actually, we'll do 3 and 4. We'll do 3 and 4. How about that?
Before the break?
Yeah. How you feeling?
I'm all right.
All right, good.
I stretched.
The game we saw on Saturday, Cedar Creek beats Mainland. Now, this was an incredible finish. Mac and I were there on the sidelines as Mainland ties the game with Nate Cashie's 41-yard field goal. And you're thinking, this game deserves overtime. It's back and forth, local teams, packed house, a lot of people there, 28-28. Overtime's fitting. Kickoff out of bounds. You think, well, wasn't the best kick coverage the last time Mainland had kicked off. So not sure if it was intentional or not. But
right.
Cedar Creek, a lot of playmakers, and maybe not the worst thing in the world. They start there on 35 instead of 20.
How many seconds left, right? 40-some? 30-some?
Yeah, 30-some. First play, Frenchman Bethea, Junior Bethea as he goes, rolls out to his right and off 1 foot on the run, and the jump, throws an absolute dot, 56 yards to Gian King. Grabs it, takes it in for a touchdown. 21 seconds left. 34-28 is the final score. Let's talk about Bethea. He played great in coverage all game for Cedar Creek. Played great at quarterback. Ran for a long touchdown. Did it all. Got the hat. Huge game. Mac, what were your impressions?
Great high school football game. It started out a little sloppy, right? I mean, we were talking about the first half. I think we had 8 to 10 penalties, combination of both teams. Some early turnovers killed Mainland, right? Turn the ball over in the own zone. Cedar Creek capitalized, and you're watching this thing going, man. If Mainland, when it felt like a hockey game, next score wins, right? Next score wins. Mainland down 10. You're like, okay, they're still kind of in this thing. And, you know, the Blom, just when you think they're done, the Blom kickoff return is like, you know, you could hear the West Point marching band in the background as he's coming up the sideline. And that just flipped the switch, and you're thinking, wow, this is interesting here. Cedar Creek, has been dominating on the scoreboard, controlling the football game, so to speak. Mainland's kind of left some opportunities out there, and then Blom brings them right back in it. And you're thinking, if they get a stop here, situationally, and they kick this field goal, right? But the play that the play that Bethea makes is just, I mean, we were like, everybody's mouth was dropped. Like, we're trying, you know, we're dialing home saying, honey, keep dinner warm, keep it warm, because we're going overtime here. This thing might not be over for a while. But first play, it's like boom, and it was stunning. And at home, and you know, Cedar Creek, they just, of course, they went and you felt terrible for Mainland, because you know, what a run that they just ended, right? I think Franchini 3 sectional championships.
Yeah, he was seeking to be the second player in South Jersey history with 4.
4 sectional champions.
Yeah,
as
a starting quarterback.
As a starting quarterback, he had 3. Starting as a freshman. What a player, what a career. So watching these guys that, you know, you've seen them play, you feel like forever, and, you know, they're losing on, and it's like, oh, and then, you know, agony of defeat, right? Thrill of victory type thing. Awesome play by Bethea and company, but, you know, kudos to Mainland for just never getting knocked out of the game.
It's a classic game, and in games like that where all of a sudden it's over, and one team is just completely devastated, the other team's on top of the world. There's like a white noise aspect to it. Yeah. I mean, until you're on the ride home, are you thinking,
what happened?
What exactly happened? And you know, sometimes it's even emotional to be out there. You're thinking, I feel horrible for Franchini and Mainland. They put it all on the line. I feel great for Cedar Creek and Bethea and King and Campfield had a great game. And I'll tell you,
Campfield coming in and playing. Yeah. I mean, we were on the sideline, and when Dunbar gets hurt. Yep. Dunbar gets hurt, and Campfield's in tailback, and first time I've seen Cedar Creek live, and we're like, all right, you put the receiver in it, you know, the receiver. I'll tell you what,
they got a couple.
I know they got you have those two in the backfield together. You talk about a little bit of thunder and lightning. Those, you know, and him carrying a load, Campfield having to carry the load in the second half. He did a fantastic job. Yeah. And you know, we're talking about Bethea making a play, but that type of stuff. But you're right. You leave those things, you're like, oh my gosh, you feel terrible for Mainland. You feel good for Cedar Creek. It was a great football game. Somebody's got to lose these things. We're going to see it all around. They're more, sometimes when you get your heart ripped out like that, it just, you know, as coaches, we've been on both sides of them, right? You know, and they sting. These are the type of games that these are evenly matched teams this time of the year. Not only these type of losses are going to sting,
right?
It's the biggest stage. This isn't week 3 when you return a kickoff to end a game or something. This is it. And win or go home.
Yeah, win or go home.
Or done playing football for your life.
Forever.
Forever.
And you know what, Mac? It's also from the Cedar Creek side of things, the way the game ended, you're thinking a team, and I don't remember who, I think Mike McGarry of the Atlantic City Press wrote this about Mainland's win over Burlington Township in the sectional semifinals. He said, you know, the win showed Mainland's championship DNA. You know, when we talk about Franchini and some of the guys on that team, they lost in the state final last year. They won it the year prior in Group 4, not just Group 3. To beat a champion, you know, you almost have to take that 41-yard kick. There's no way that, oh my God, these guys, they won't go away. They've come back. And you almost have to have just the right mix of kids, the right thing happen to say that, you know, you just left it all out there. That's what it took to knock off a champion. And it's a valiant effort, and it's a valid effort. And I think that's what I saw from Cedar Creek on Saturday that was incredible. And that's what'll stick with me. But what else is going to stick with me is kicker Christopher Sandoval. I met this kid after the game on Saturday, Mac, and right after he gets through the handshake line, he says, "I'm such a big fan of the show. I never miss it. As soon as practice is over on Wednesdays, I make sure I'm home to watch it." I'm like, you just won a sectional title, man. I'm happy to meet you. So that was a cool moment. And one guy I want to say I felt very, very happy for is a guy, Jim Rosso, former Hamilton head coach, who's now an assistant at Cedar Creek. Coach Rosso a few years ago had a number 1 seed in the section in Hamilton. They had Millville on the ropes. They were very close to getting a first down and sealing that game. They were a Lotsier Brooks miraculous play that only Lotsier Brooks could make away from winning that game and going to the state semifinals. And that was a heartbreaking defeat. And now Jim's at Cedar Creek. And, you know, I guess I remember seeing what it looked like for him after that game a couple of years ago, and then seeing his face on Saturday after the win.
Right.
I just felt really great for Coach Rosso, a really good guy. Congratulations, Jim. Now, it gets no easier for Cedar Creek, right? State semifinals, toughest test of the year comes up with Homedale, who beat Seneca 41-20 in their sectional final, their first ever sectional title in program history. They're seeking their first state final appearance, of course. Jack Cannon, I think he had 4 total touchdowns. Jack Cannon's going to Dartmouth. He throws it. He runs it. He is Johnny Football, Jackie Football, I guess you want to call him, for the Homedale Hornets. Once-in-a-lifetime season for the program. They're rallied around this guy who no one can stop. We talked about him last week. He had 9 touchdowns in a game he accounted for. It is a tough test. Cedar Creek's at 10-2. Homedale's at 9-2. This is one of our matchups where it's South Jersey versus an out of South Jersey foe. It's at Homedale Friday, 7 p.m. You know, I think Homedale is the favorite here. But Cedar Creek, we noticed, Mac, they have so many guys that can do so many things in that defensive backfield, wide receiver, a lot of team speed. I think Coach Melody would say he's hoping his team speed can impact this game where, you know, Cannon breaks a run, maybe instead of 40 yards, it's 15, right?
Well, look, Cannon's
the big plays.
Cannon's a dude, but I'll say Cedar Creek has a lot of dudes too.
They do.
You know, and you know, I'm a more guy. I like more. I like more. I like to have more. I want more. More. What do you need, Coach? More.
I love that.
More. More.
Yep.
Yeah, that's my favorite player. More. Faster and more.
Faster, smarter, more.
Tougher, faster, more.
It's a hike to get up there to Homedale, but anybody who's going, be sure to loop us in on the scores and what's going on. It'd be great next week. We have somebody in the chat who was at the game. Give a little feedback here in the chat because, you know, we're going to be tied up elsewhere, and you know, we'll see what happens. Coach Melody's done an excellent job. They won that regional championship with that undefeated season his first year there, I think it was, in the win over Eastside, then Woodrow Wilson, in a crazy finish. And since then, I think the level of success has been they're in the mix every year.
Sure.
Sometimes you need that perfect blend, and I think what they have this year is a very good blend. We'll see if it's a perfect blend. We'll see if they can make the state final. The other state semifinal in Group 3 is West Morris, run-heavy team, wing T team, versus Old Tappan. We're familiar with Old Tappan. They do everything well. Old Tappan, I believe, has 2 state championships. We saw them beat Mainland last year in the state final, and they beat Delsey in the state final a couple of years ago, I believe. That's Group 3. Now, Group 4, Mac. Brick Memorial at Winslow, Saturday, 1 p.m. Brick Memorial's 10-2. They beat Middletown North last week, 28-0 in their final. This was the Central 4 section. This had no South Jersey teams in it. They're at Winslow's, 10-2. Look, it's Brick Memorial's first sectional title since 2008. They're seeking their first state final appearance. Jason Lahara, 8-13 last week, 139 yards passing, 9 carries, 84 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. Nazir Whitaker, 12 carries, 78 yards, and a touchdown. He also had a kickoff return for touchdown. Winslow was playing Millville. It was close for a minute there. It was 18-14.
When the start?
It didn't end up close. 53-14 for Winslow, their third straight sectional title, seeking their second consecutive state title.
Millville's young. Winslow's beyond loaded.
Jalen Parker, 15-22, 228, 4 touchdowns. Nakeem Powell, 20 carries, 124 yards and a touchdown. Boomer Helton, 7 receptions, 103 yards and 2 touchdowns. Karan Ali, pick 6. Benji Carter, pick 6. I will say this. I think that Winslow is a heavy favorite in this game, and we'll see what happens. But this game is going to be Saturday. And I am going to be there Saturday, 1 p.m. down in Winslow to see the Mustangs at the Eagles, Mac. I don't know, I don't know what you could do to beat Winslow. I'm just saying that honestly. I mean, I've seen them this year. You look at a Millville team. That Millville is a good team, a good high school football team.
How to beat them? How to beat them?
You know, They hung with them, and they lost 56-14.
Tell them the game's at 10 when it's at 1, and they're not. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Or the bus.
Yeah, exactly. Tell them it's the wrong time
and a wrong day. But things are, 1 o'clock at Winslow. I mean, look, anything can happen on any given day. It is football.
Yeah.
Not this day.
Remember a couple years ago, and I was joking about it last night on the show when they asked, they said the game plan for this game, and I just was like, they got to hope for like COVID or swine flu or one of those things. But if you remember a couple years ago with COVID,
right? Yeah.
The basketball season, it abruptly ended, and it's like, okay, you both are champions. It's kind of like that. You gotta. Winslow is just a team that has gotten better and better and better as the season went on, and they were extremely good at the beginning of the season, giving IMG a run for their money.
Right, and look, I saw him live. Well, you guys, we've all seen him live, and I saw him against Shawnee, and you get sometimes, until you plop on the film, right? Oh, what they got? No, they got a couple guys. They got this. They got guys that we don't even know, that we don't even mention, that on other teams would be their dude.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean,
their guy.
20th guy would be somebody's dude.
That's what I mean.
We were just saying Maddox, right? I mean, he's TJ, able to kind of fly under the radar because they have 2 extremely good receivers, but when it's all said and done, at the end of his career, he still has 2 more years. He might be the best one out of the bunch.
Right.
Like
it's like Devontae as a freshman at Alabama back with Tua. Yeah. It was like, who's that guy? Who's that guy? Right? Oh, that's the guy who caught the game winner. Like that, they got dudes upon dudes, and then forget about that. They got in their front 7 on defense is stacked. Look. I wish, look, we're all South Jersey guys. We want South Jersey to win. I wish Brick Memorial, I hope they give their best effort, but it's going to take a Herculean miracle.
Well, everything has to come together.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Winslow has to commit crazy turnovers. They have to
six.
Abnormal.
Yeah.
6.
Now, I will say this. I know we talked about this last year as well. We mentioned it, and we don't need to get into the debate about it or any of that nonsense. But I will say that I've been around here 11 years. Winslow is one of the best teams I've seen, even before being here and being in Virginia. They're one of the best high school football teams I've ever seen. I'm not saying they're the best. There's been some other great ones. Timber Creek, of course, Winslow last year. Millville, with the year they beat Winslow, and that's regional championship game. Prep had some really good teams.
Yes.
The St. Joe had some great teams, but this team is one of the best I've seen in my time watching high school football. They're excellent all around. The other state semifinal in that is Phillipsburg and Ramapo. Phillipsburg lost to Winslow in the state final last year, and Ramapo lost in the state final 2 years ago in Group 4 to Mainland. Phillipsburg has a Turkey Day game. So we go back to the beginning of the show. We were talking about scheduling. If Phillipsburg were to win Group 4 in that top bracket or the North bracket, then that final would be the following Wednesday at Rutgers. So we do have some Thanksgiving Day games still out there. As we said, Group 2 is guaranteed to be on that Wednesday at Rutgers since Haddonfield and Camden both have Turkey Day games, but so does Phillipsburg. So Dwayne says he thinks Ramapo gets this one. Ramapo beat Northern Highlands by 1. They stopped a 2-point conversion, I think, in overtime. The lights went in and out. Really cool. Northern Highlands, Ramapo, one of the best rivalries in the state with the way that those teams are each year. So that was pretty awesome watching the highlights of that. We'll see. The state liners are tough always, and they will face Ramapo. Now, Mac, it's time for Knots of the Week. Let's cue it up, Rod. Hold on 1 second.
Hold on. I'm sorry. I apologize. I just dropped it in here.
Not a lot of knots last week. We're running out of games, so there's less knots.
Less games, but you're also taking more high-level games.
Yes.
And in the high-level games, you're not going to have as many knots.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I wasn't recording Blum's kickoff return.
That was right now. I gave you some grief on that. I could touch him.
I know, and I didn't record the touchdown throw either because I'm thinking, I'm down the other end of the field. I'm like, there's no way this is what's going to happen. Isaac Parr did have a 41-yard interception. We don't have the video of that, unfortunately. Shats, come on, man. You know where to send it in. Here we go. Hit it, Rod. Location, location, location. There's no better location than the football field, but for all your other real estate needs, call Ashley Franchini. Do not make a mistake when you're looking for real estate, folks. Reach out to Ashley at 609-233-6116 or at franchinirealestate.com. We're going to go to Brick Memorial here, Mac.
The Mustangs.
Kickoff return. Let's show the Mustangs a little bit of love. To the house, right up the right side there. Congratulations, Brick Memorial, on their sectional final. Now, we're also going to look at Winslow here. Benji Carter, number 8. Mr. Matthews on the right side deflects it, and Benji Carter plucks it right out of the air and scores the easiest touchdown he'll ever score. Winslow had 2 knots. Here's the second. Karan Ali, this is a hat man. He grabs that, and he takes it to the house for the Eagles' opportunistic defense. Some knots of the week. Those two teams are going to face off. Our knots of the week from last week, Brick Memorial and Winslow. They're going to face off Saturday, 1 p.m. at Winslow for a shot to get to the state final in Group 4. There's a lot of words in there. Sorry, I kept pausing so much.
Commas.
Enunciate.
Do what you got to do. You're the media reporter guy.
There's one game left to preview. It's the game of the week. We're going to talk about it right here after this break. South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. The West Jersey Football Coaches Association was established to promote, improve, and unite football in South Jersey. In less than 4 years, the association created the Battle at the Beach and has dedicated itself to helping others. The association has donated close to $100,000 to date to provide scholarships through the National Football Foundation and the Touchdown Club of Southern New Jersey. The group has also donated to the charity Philly Faces, which helps those in need of facial reconstruction surgery. Thank you to the West Jersey Football Coaches Association for their sponsorship of the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. The South Jersey Football Frenzy Show is also sponsored by Capstone Medical Services, a dedicated team of experienced healthcare professionals with a strong presence at the youth, middle school, high school, collegiate, and post-collegiate levels. They specialize in athletic training services and sports medicine for youth, high school, collegiate, and adult sports, event EMT and paramedic coverage for events and gatherings of all types and sizes, ensuring everyone's safety, injury prevention and workplace injury programs for commercial and industrial organizations, American Red Cross training, ideal for coaches, youth group leaders, church organizations, businesses of all sizes, and school districts. At Capstone, they are committed to delivering exceptional medical services that exceed expectations. No team will work harder or more passionately for you or your athletes. They proudly serve athletes of all ages, schools, businesses, and event organizers, ensuring the health and safety of every individual in every setting. Whether on the field, at work, or during special events, Capstone's here to protect, support, and serve because your safety is our top priority. To learn how Capstone Medical Services can support your school, organization, or event, call 855-EVENT-CMS or visit capstonemedicalservices.com. The South Jersey Football Frenzy Show is also sponsored by SRA Home Products. South Jersey, let me tell you about my friends over at SRA Home Products. SRA has been building sunrooms, pergolas, and patio covers for over 25 years. They've built more than 9,000 projects in the Delaware Valley alone. And I've had the opportunity to be around Mike Fody, the owner, and I have nothing but the best things to say about Mike and his crew. SRA is a gold accredited member of the Better Business Bureau under the elite provider status with Home Advisor, and they've racked up a number of Best of South Jersey awards in the past. They also contribute to multiple sport associations and are huge supporters of Williamstown football. Find them online at srahomeproducts.com.
Enthusiastic about football? Become a part of the NJFOA South Football Association and team up with us to officiate high school football. Join us on the field. Our cadet class kicks off in March. Register on our website or by scanning the QR code in this ad. Put the stripes on and join us on the gridiron today.
Welcome back to South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. Kevin Minnick, you'll appreciate Max in here talking basketball. He's ready for basketball season. Kevin, I think Max should join you for a basketball game this year. What do you think? You guys cover it together?
Absolutely, I'll go. I know. I think Kevin knows this. I mean, I was talking about it with DePatri on Saturday. My dad was also a high school basketball ref.
That's right. He was.
Dude, I got to witness some of the classic Cherry Hill East, Camden Atlantic City, Camden Bishop Eustace. When Eustace would try to take the air out of the ball, he'd put us under the scores table, me and my brothers. He'd ref the game. Now, I don't think anybody's still coaching who Valori's not coaching still, is he?
No.
Valori's been done, right? Like, I was trying.
I would have said, I don't know.
I wouldn't be shocked if
I was trying to think.
He's on somebody.
He's on someone's staff. I guarantee
staff. It might,
Come on, Kev.
Fill
us in, man.
Where's Coach Valori? But I would tell you, my dad.
Is it Holy Cross? He might be on a Holy Cross staff. Maybe. I might be wrong. But I know I saw him. But go ahead.
Well, my dad would let him play. Like
that doesn't surprise me.
He let him play.
That doesn't surprise me.
And
football coach.
Him and Coach Turner would get into it because the only way you're going to be Camden High then, now, and ever is holding, hitting, grabbing, and he would be yelling at my dad, Mac, my kid. And my dad would be like yelling back, not yelling, but like, Coach, your guys can score with 2 on them. Like, anyway.
Here's the thing, man.
I went to so many good high school basketball games.
Maybe we need a South Jersey basketball frenzy show.
I don't know if I'm the guy to go down the hole on that.
I didn't think you were the guy. Maybe we'll get Kevin in here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look.
Get some hoops guys.
I got to see Milt, Billy Thompson, Vic, that crew. Oh, my gosh. The guys that I got to see, the Cheryl teams of the 80s, late 70s. I mean, crazy good. Bishop Eustace back in the day with Pete Johnson and his squads. Mike Sarubi, Fish, those guys. I mean, anyway, it was just a lot of good basketball.
We're talking basketball real quick. This was my life moving into Camden, going over Vic Karstarfin's house, playing video games with Vic. Walks in Eddie Jones, Aaron McKee.
Yeah.
This was, I believe this was 89, I want to say. So I was a youngin'. I didn't know who those guys were.
Right.
Mark Macon. My cousin Leroy McBride played at Camden High School with Aaron Burton, those guys. So that was a thing.
Right.
And then to go a couple years later and see Eddie Jones playing for the Miami Heat and the Lakers, it was like, that's the guy I was playing video games with.
Well, you talk about old school, like with my dad and my uncle who coached at Washington, Coach Chaney, when he introduced me to Chaney, I'd be like, Uncle John, how do you know him? He's like,
right.
Come on, man, we've been in Philly since 1940. We all know each other, all us coaches, back before he was at Temple, like when he was at Chaney. Like it was crazy, Philly, South Jersey. Anyway, I was really lucky. That was my winners, right?
Yeah.
I was, my dad would be going to all these places, all these games. He did some college games. He would do some Georgetown games back. He did the Palestra games. Anyway, I had a fun winners.
Well,
but I didn't play basketball.
There's a lot of basketball.
I was a wrestler. Everybody knows.
We're not quite there yet. But hey, maybe we'll get out some games in the winter. Let's talk about our game of the week. The game we're going to get at to Friday night.
Which will not be a basketball game, by the way.
No, it won't. It's going to be a little more physical.
And if there is, there's a couple more than 5 fouls. This thing is going to be can I say Donnybrook?
Yeah, I think that's a good word for it, a Donnybrook. It's going to be, I don't think there's going to be any friends on the field on Friday night as the South Central 5 state semifinal, or Group 5 state semifinal, will occur with Kingsway at 10-2 at Washington Township, 12-0, Friday at 6 p.m. Last week, Washington Township beat Old Bridge 38-7, their second straight sectional title, seeking their first state final appearance, as is Kingsway. Colin Beeler, 19 carries, 127 yards, and a touchdown. Andrew Osborne, 10 carries, 82 yards, 3 touchdowns. Isaac Parr with that 41-yard pick six, as Kevin said here in the chat. And Kevin knows how well Osborne's been playing. I know his father was in here commenting earlier. I'm sure he's still watching. Big fan of the show. We're a big fan of Andrew. Big fan of Township, big fan of Kingsway. Saw Kingsway last week. At the top of the show, we talked about their win over Atlantic City, 38-21, They played exactly the type of game you want a team to play on the road in the playoffs. It's the type of game they're going to have to play this week as well. Discipline, convert on your opportunities, play good defense. Coach Hendricks, I know, is probably up game planning, figuring it all out, X's and O's, Jimmy's and Joe's. He said after the game, Township likes to say, and they do. It's good to have the Jimmys and Joes, right?
Oh, yeah.
We'll see how these Jimmys and Joes play out on Friday night. Having seen these teams back-to-back weeks and having seen the Classic that they played earlier in the season, what stands out to me most about that Classic game was I thought Kingsway played really well throughout. I thought Township played really well in spurts. Most notably, erasing a 12-point deficit in the last 5 minutes and winning in regulation. That spurt was pretty good. Jair Moore takes a pass, runs away, and scores. Now, on the flip side of things, I think Township probably looked at that tape and said, there's a lot of things we could have done better. Turnovers, defense. I don't know. I think Township's playing at an incredible clip. They've only played one close game all year, really, and it was in the thriller against Kingsway. Kingsway knows they can hang.
Well, that's the thing.
Kingsway knows they're playing well. If Danick or Brian play, I don't know. I don't know the severity of their injuries. They were both in uniform at the end of the game, but they weren't in the game, so we'll see. The Township team that's coming to defend home turf on Friday night is a team that lost the state semifinal last year. It's a team that was expected to be in the state final this year. It's a team that is senior-led across the board with dudes. It's going to be a tough test for Kingsway, but I'm interested to see how the matchup plays out the second time around because the first one was such a classic. And I don't think I'm going out on a limb to say this, and this is no disrespect to anybody. It's going to be tough to top the first matchup that they had. It was that good.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Kingsway's been in, one of the checks you give them in their column, they've been in some of these situational games, both sides, right? The Camden loss, the loss to Township. So playing all 4 quarters. Township, to your point, they haven't had to play all 4 quarters. That's not their fault.
Right. It's a credit to them.
It's a credit. They're really good. To your point, senior laden, is it the sense that they're walking around their locker room, not in a sense of like entitlement or overconfident, but like, we are going to get this done. This is happening, right? Like there's a sense of like, this is our time to have an opportunity to get to that state final. And quite frankly, Kingsway's is coming in playing that spoiler. We talk about is both teams. I don't know how 100% healthy both teams are. Right? You were at the Kingsway. We heard the Kingsway some guys dinged, but at this time of year, everybody's dinged up. But how dinged? Who knows? Township probably has some guys that are tweaked, but these are those games where I think. If you're Kingsway, you can't. We watched Township get all over with the punt, with the PAT, the field goal block.
Yeah, RV
and RV. They just blood in the water, right? They were like sharks, and they were.
That's exactly right.
Bang, bang, bang. Not satisfied. That's how Washington Township's playing right now. Kingsway's got to be like, we got to weather this storm a little bit. We got to get to the second half. We got to get to the fourth quarter. The longer we make you can't, not that Township's going to doubt themselves ever. They're not. Senior laden, good football team's not going to put doubt. But you can't sprinkle blood early because they'll be all over it.
Township, their kids are so nice after the game. And I think, what? Are you the same guy I saw on the field? Because you were scary as all get out. You're a mean guy out on the field after the game. These big smiles. Hey, sir, thank you for coming to the game. And I'm like, they come up to you. You're like, I hope this guy isn't coming over to talk to me. It looks like if he's anybody like was on the field, he'd pop my head off. They're mean. They're fast. They're aggressive. Run fast, hit hard is their mantra on defense. Coach Hearn does a great job, and they do a great job at that. I love the poise, though, from Orvets and the way he's played this year. I think he is an excellent high school quarterback. He has great size. And really, like I said, he guides the offense. He's a level guy. He's communicating on the sidelines. He's very much plays the part. I love what he's done. I love that team that Kingsway has. And going in the game last week, I thought, this could be a classic down-to-the-wire matchup with Atlantic City. It's an interesting style makes fights type of deal, as Rod likes to say. The game was over in the middle of the second quarter. Right. And you take a step back and you think, this Kingsway team, they really were impressive. I mean, the defense, everything, offense, boom, 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 knowing when to take their shots, hitting them.
But
that's the way we do it.
I don't mean, don't these teams kind of remind you of each other?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, on paper, probably Township is not prohibitive favorite, but favored, right?
Yeah. Well, definitely. They're the number one.
They're the number one seed, and they've earned the number one seed. So they're the favorite team. If you're Hendricks, if you're Mark, you got what you got in your pocket is we lost to these guys, and everybody else is most people are probably predicting Township to win, but you're gonna have to white knuckle this thing. Like this is gonna be one. If I'm coaching Kingsway and if I'm Henny, this thing might have to go past 48.
Yeah.
And on the flip side, if you're Township, you played these guys already, guys. You played these guys. Yeah, we didn't play our best game, but these guys aren't going away. This team isn't going away. You got to cut the head off of Kingsway for them to go away. The head of the dragon has to come off to make Kingsway go away.
Yeah, so we'll see, man. That's a game of the week. Kingsway at Washington Township. The winner goes to the Group 5 state championship. The game will be Friday at 6 p.m.
6 o'clock.
Yes.
6.
The other state semifinal is Passaic Tech. Took down West Orange in a shootout last week against Bridgewater Raritan. That's the other Group 5 state semifinals. We're going to review what happens this weekend next Tuesday at 7 p.m. here, wherever you're watching. We'll talk about the state championships. We know we're going to have at least 3 teams participating. Group 1 is all South Jersey, Burlington City and Glassboro. Group 2 is all South Jersey and Haddonfield and Camden. We know that state final will be the Wednesday after Thanksgiving. Group 5, we know, Kingsway, Washington Township.
Group 4, we know.
Group 4.
Group 4, we know.
Group 4, it's likely. We have another team. And
Group 3.
Group 3.
Let's go, Cedar Creek.
Cedar Creek at Homedale. And non-public B, you've got Holy Spirit.
Yeah, Spirit too. Spartans of Spirit. The Spartans of Spirit.
So we'll break down all 6 of those games next week. Talk about the state finals, preview them, tell you where they're going to be and when, and we'll see you there. It could be MetLife, Rutgers. We'll see. Those are the 2 sites. So a lot to go through before we get to the turkey. I want to thank Rod and his company, D2 Sports Network. You're watching on YouTube. Be sure to watch their show from last night, By the Numbers, with Kevin Emmons, Chris Baker. Great show from them. He does it all here at Studio B. I can't recommend a first-class studio more than Rod's. Contact him for studio time, and he'll hook you up. Here we go, Mac. I mean, buckle up. As Mr. Aquino says here, get your popcorn ready. I will say last time I covered Township, they hit the over that you laid out. You said 70 for RV Township. It was exactly 70.
I put the number. What am I, Phil Sheridan?
I'll say the over-under on this one is probably going to be, I think, a little bit lower scoring. I'm going to say 49 and a half.
Okay. I got it probably at 42.
Okay, even lower.
Yeah.
Rob, what you got? Write it down. You're the only reason I remember this last time.
What was yours, Mark?
49.
Oh, and I saw Kevin said Valori's at Polo 6.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Well, I like to set the facts straight. I'm sitting here like a dope.
What do you got, Rod?
I'm leaning more towards coach. Yeah. Let's go.
He said, yeah. Yeah.
Thinking to himself.
That's not a number.
We all do it. We all talk to ourselves. We think we said something out loud.
I'm going 45.
Oh, you're up to 45?
I'm 45. Max 45. You're 49?
Yeah.
Rod?
Hold on.
I said 45.
You're going 45.
I'm going 45.
Okay. I was like 42.
You go 50, you win.
42?
You go 50 and everybody goes out of the water, you win.
Price is right.
Price is right rule.
That's up there. I got a feeling somebody's going to run it up.
You win both showcases, you get close,
I'm
too.
going 50.
He's going to go
Price
for
is
the
right.
win.
Let's go.
52, he wins both showcases.
Not a lot of space here for me. Good luck, everybody, this weekend, South Jersey. This is, we're getting right to the end here. This is where the true heavy hitters are still left on the field. Travel safe to whatever game you're going to, whether it's Friday night or Saturday. Be sure to say hey. I know a number of you all have done that this year. It's always good to see people watch the show. What do you got, Rod?
I just want to give a huge shout out to the guys that are competing from South Jersey, the college guys competing in the college playoffs now for Division II, Division III.
Yes.
Ton of guys. Kutztown, Shark, Maxwell, Zaman. It's just Lee Coleman. It's just a bunch of guys on Kutztown. And then Assumption has, my son, the quarterback, just left my head. I don't know, from Paul Six, those guys. So, all the guys from South Jersey, good luck in the playoffs for the college football.
Good stuff. And to any of you top-level players out in South Jersey, I'll just say Blacksburg's a great place. If for some reason a helicopter lands next to your school and somebody wants to talk to you about it, I would listen. That's all I got.
That's all you got?
That's all I got.
So you're doing an unapologetic plug for your Virginia Tech Hokies right now?
It's an unofficial statement, like an unofficial visit.
I get you.
We got to get you down there now.
I know. Move me down.
Get you down on a visit.
Be great to get back on campus. I've been there in probably 11, 12 years.
Next week we talk Big Ten championship.
Little Indiana, Ohio State. All right.
1 versus 2.
Have to build a wall in here.
Well, the Buckeyes still got to beat the Wolverines. That's. I mean, I don't care when Indiana's got Purdue. Purdue's not. I mean, look, anything can happen, but Purdue's not. Michigan ain't Purdue, my man.
It ain't happening this year.
I'm just saying.
It's not happening. After last year with the flag, it's not happening.
No, I don't think it's happened either. And you know what? I want Ohio State to beat Michigan this year.
We want Ohio State and Indiana.
Yes, we do. Just for the show.
We'll do it on site.
I'm wearing crimson next week. You know that.
We'll see y'all back here.
Not that scarlet.
Well, I agree, Dwayne. Nothing better than the Commonwealth, buddy. We will see you back here Tuesday, 7 p.m. South Jersey Football Frenzy Show.